at AM Northwest, an expert will have advice, tips for selling your home in today's tough economy.
All right, coming up next, find out what you need to know to sell your home in today's economy. Thanks for watching AM Northwest. You know, now can really be a scary time to think about selling your home. So here with advice for getting it sold, we welcome real estate expert Tammy Beckley. Good to see you, Tammy.
Good to see you, too.
Tell us about the market a bit right now. Are homes selling now?
Homes are selling. Things are picking up, and that's the good news. So,
and interest rates couldn't be lower.
Interest rates couldn't be lower, so it's a really good time to go out and buy something. There's a lot of inventory on the market. Prices are good on those homes, and interest rates are down.
And let's give people some tips. So if they've got a house and they're thinking about selling, what is the #1 tip you would give them? Make sure that it looks absolutely perfect?
That's one of them, for sure. And those are the kind of homes that are selling right now, or the little cream puff homes that are on the block. When you're driving down the block and you see that one home that's really been well cared for, and the landscaping looks great, and the entryway looks perfect, those are the homes that are going to sell. So you need to really take some time and clean your home up and take a little bit of money and get it just right.
And starting with the yard is what I'm hearing you say, right? Make sure the yard's in good shape. And
right. Just like they say, the curb appeal is very important.
Yeah.
And I've got to believe the first impression is like the only time you get. If you don't make a good first impression, they're not going to come back.
Right. Like I tell people, you only have one chance to make a good impression. So make it right, have your entryway perfect. One thing that always seems to happen is that when you're taking your clients toward the front door, agents have a lot to do at that time. So we're dealing with paperwork. I have my purse. I'm getting the lockbox out to get the key out. And your clients are just standing there looking around the entryway.
Right.
And if there's spider webs or there's paint chipped off your front door or there's weeds around there, they're just standing there looking at that stuff.
You know, I remember when my wife and I were looking for a home, and we would go to a house that was just new on the market and it had not really been made ready. And then we would go back later and it had been gone over.
Up, yeah.
But in our minds, when we saw it the second time, it was like, oh, well, they fixed these things up. But you still keep that first image in your head.
Yeah, you can't go back.
So one of the suggestions is neutralize the home. What do you mean by that?
Well, neutralizing the home, I think a good example is that there was a couple that I was working with that had some little children, and they had given me some criteria as to what kind of home they wanted. I took them to the home that met all their criteria. It was perfect for them. But we walked in the home, and the people that lived there at that time were a retired couple that had just elegant things all over the home. They traveled around the world, and they'd have a lot of little knickknacks, and they had porcelain figurines and this, that, and the other, and white columns with porcelain and glass things on them. And even though the home was perfect for this family, they couldn't get that elegant feel.
They couldn't get past it.
They couldn't get past it. People don't have as much of a vision as you would think. So if the sellers had moved out and taken everything out, that house would have been absolutely perfect for this family. But we walked away from it, and it wasn't for them. I
don't know if this is a rule, but it seems to me that you've got to depersonalize it to the point that you don't know who really lives there.
A little bit.
You can't. I remember walking to a house that was for sale, and they had huge family portraits. I'm thinking, well, who's going to imagine themselves there now that I know that this family lives there? I can't see that we're going to live there.
It's true. And even, you know, it's hard for sellers because you're having to take down all your children's pictures and all that kind of thing. And, you know, your son lives in his room that's painted navy blue with basketball trim on wallpaper trim or whatever, and you've got to get rid of that. You really do.
Yeah, and if you have something that you call the clown room, get rid of it.
Get rid of it, right. Yeah. Get rid of the sponge-painted bathroom from 10 years ago. Get rid of that stuff.
Having sold our house last year, one of the toughest things, I think, especially for the wives, is always be show-ready.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. It is difficult, but it's important because that's an excellent marketing moment for an agent is when you first open the door.
Yeah.
And if you're standing there and none of the lights are on and the drapes are closed and all of that, and you walk in and there's 10 light switches to your right and you're fiddling with them and turning on the entryway light or the hall light and all of that, you've missed that moment with your clients. That is an excellent selling opportunity moment. So
make sure it smells good.
It smells good.
Yeah.
Leave some windows open. Have some soft music playing in the background, but lights on in every room, even the bathrooms, even the pantry, every room.
Do all that. And then pricing is obviously very, very important. How do you know you've got the right price?
Well, you really have to work with your agent on that, and your agent should take the time to do the research to make sure that you're priced very competitively. And I like to tell my clients that I like them to be the low-hanging fruit, per se. And that will garner a lot more interest in your home. You'll have a lot more buyers coming through. And when an offer comes in, then you won't have to negotiate so hard off of your listed price. It's better to be competitive than leave yourself, what clients will say, don't I need to leave myself room for negotiation? You do. There's some negotiation that needs to happen, but it's better to be priced competitively and then stick closer to your listed price.
Well, and chances are, if you overprice it to begin with, again, the first impression is they tried to get too much for it, and people may not ever take a second look, even if you lower the price. And then at that point, you may look desperate to buyers.
You do, and because it's also probably a year later at that point, so that's tough.
One of the last thing you say is don't let an agent buy your listing, and I don't know what that means exactly.
Okay, what that means is a lot of times people will interview 3 or 4 agents, and agents will come in, and there are some out there that will give you an overinflated price just because they want the listing. So don't choose the agent that came in with the highest price point on your home.
Sure.
Choose the agent that you feel you have the best personal connection with and that you think has the ability to market your home the best.
There you go. And as you said, people are buying homes again right now, at least it appears so. So, all right, if you want to get out of that house, now's the time. Now you know what to do.
Yeah,
Thanks for coming in today. We
much.
appreciate it.